Guys, welcome back. If I hope you guys enjoyed that last album. Yeah, that cool. So this album is special because my brother wrote it. I took the producer chair here. I did some back vocals, and yeah, these are all his songs, man, and so proud of him. Now he doesn't. How would I say this? He, as all artists do, have different processes, right? Of how they get songs out and how albums are formed and this and that. I don't know if my brother had that same kind of intentionality that I had. Like, not that he's not intentional or whatever, but he didn't have that, like, okay, this is what I want my album to say. And then work around that, right? He is a songwriter first, So he just wrote songs on the guitar. He was like, here. He's like, all right, cool. What kind of sound do you want? And he's like, man, I really like Michael Jackson. At the time, we were listening to Silk Sonic, and I was like, dude, come on, we can do this. We can do it. Now, does it sound like Silk Sonic? No. Okay, neither of us are Bruno Mars. Neither of us are Anderson .Paak. So that is what it is, right? But we just had that like groove and a little more stripped down. That, I don't know, maybe not stripped down. Yeah, that's not true. I don't know. What came out came out. You're gonna listen to it. You're gonna love it. It's great. I really enjoy it. But this is the power of writing from the heart and the power of curating. Okay. So like I said, he just wrote a bunch of songs, right? Some made it, some didn't. Some were supposed to make it in terms of theme. Like it made sense. It fit. We just couldn't work out the production. That's on me. I'm not perfect. Not even your top 10. You know what it is. But the curating, right? So listening to these songs, feeling these songs, listening to the lyrics, hearing the sounds. Like, okay, what is this song trying to tell me? What story is being told in these, six, seven songs? And so, yeah, I mean, maybe he'll tell you a different story, or we've talked about this before, but a long time ago. And he's like, oh man, you make me sound like a genius. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, anyone who's honest about how they think and feel written down, you can curate anything, this is the beauty of music. It's a highlight reel, essentially, like when you're playing sports, like, yeah, you got your highlight reel, but when you're playing sports, you got the one shot, well, not basketball, right? You got like 100 shots, you miss 50 of them, you still make 50. That's 100 points. That's crazy. But in soccer, for example, you get 6 chances on target. You make one of them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's really like in the moment, you've got to make it count. In music, in art, not so much that way. You can take your time. You can refine it. You can do all these things to it. You can go from crusty, dusty, like bad stuff to like greatness, and that's usually my case, because I'm so intentional with, okay, this is what I want to say. Lyrically, I will start with like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, go from that to one of these songs, because I will fight for the song until I can't. And I've also, like, I don't know, when I was practicing and learning piano, guys, this is a rant. I'm sorry. This has maybe nothing to do with the album, but when I was practicing the piano, as you practice, you should be, if you're not strict about your practice, you should be kind of lighthearted, or like let your creativity flow from your practice. And you're practicing your scales, you mess up by accident, that sounded a little jazzy, and then you play that, and then you try to find a melody there, and then that you find the chords that fits the melody, and boom, you know what I mean? So as I was practicing piano and learning, like, really actually self teaching myself music theory, you have these moments of, oh, I think maybe I'm writing a song. And I would scrap it and be like, no, this is actually garbage. So I've had my fair share of that. Now I don't do that too much because of the complete package that comes with, again, knowing what I want to say, knowing how I want it to feel, and just trying to make my idea come to life, right? Not to say that it's amazing, not to say anything, but other than it's intentional, and that's what I aspire towards. So I don't have a lot of throwaways. I guess you can consider the 80 plus songs that are coming out this year would have been throwaways, but I'm like, no, let's just get it out there. It's okay. There is a story. There is something I'm trying to say with these songs. Now, with all this being said, my goodness, sorry, my brother's album, what this makes me feel and think of is a man, and I think it's fair to say, even in time, like, this is maybe what was going on, with him going on dates and being a romantic the way he is, and trying to, be a gentleman and let like open the car door for girls and take them out to fancy dinners and all that, going on all these dates. What I see in these songs is a guy learning what love is really about. It's subtle maybe, but you'll see the language change from I to you. Like, the concern being myself, how you make me feel, and what I do for you, but actually how that makes me feel, all of that. Two, it's about you, like, it's about what you need, and it's not about me at all. And that there's like a maturity in learning how to love, and that's kind of what I want the discussion to be about, today is like, do you know that? Do you know that love ain't about you? I think that's hard because we're on empty and we need love, right? So how can you tell me love ain't about me if I ain't got no love? Nelson, Junior, how you gonna do that? And look, I don't know how an atheist, an agnostic, or someone of faith that's outside of Christianity can do it. Honestly, I'm not like, yeah, I'm always trying to, what do you call it? Always trying to evangelize, I guess. That's the shortcut to what I'm trying to say. I'm always rooting for Jesus. I'm always trying to, hey, have you heard of this guy? I'm always trying to do that, but I really don't understand, because the idea is that Jesus becomes a fountain in your life, that a well in your life that goes so deep and so infinite and is filled that it allows you to give freely. Right? Freely received, freely given. That's the impact the gospel has on a life, which changes love from being transactional to this wonderful, mature idea of it, which is, I don't need, like, if you want to reciprocate, that's amazing and that's fantastic, but I don't need it. My bank is looking nice. You know what I mean? Listen, keep the change. You know what I mean? And if you don't have that, or if you don't have that foundation, I don't know. I really don't know. And that's just because of ignorance, maybe. Maybe I'm not saying that there isn't a way. I think it might be more challenging. It might be honestly hinging on things that aren't logic, like aren't real. And I mean that like, you're like, buddy, Jesus ain't real. And yeah, I get that maybe. But what I mean is, if it were to be true, it all checks out and it all makes sense. If there is no God, if there is no one who says you were made for a purpose, if that God does not say, hey, I created you, you are my creation, I love you, and I've proven that I've loved you by dying on the cross for you so that we can be together in eternity. If you don't have that, if you don't have, a foundation, a base to base your self-worth and self-love, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, are you supposed to get that from, and then that's the loop, right? You'd have to get that from some kind of validation. Some kind of insecure source, right? Well, my family loves me. Well, if you're a jerk for too long, they might all leave you. Well, then they don't really love me unconditionally. Well, I don't want to be a jerk all the time anyways. Fair? Yeah. All right. So there's boundaries to it, and that will be, your base. That's cool. That's fine. That works. But it's hard, and I think very, like, if you think about it and sit with it, I don't know. But yeah, the question here is, love still about what you get out of it? That's the question. Or do you have an appetite? I don't want to talk about appetite because that's going to be the next month's album. But do you have the appetite for love in such a way that you just love? Listen to the album. Comes out again. This is Monday. Hopefully it comes out this Wednesday. My brother's going to be hyping this thing up to the moon because it's his, man. It's his brainchild. And I was just here for the ride. And it's great. It's great. I really enjoy it. It's probably the best thing I've made. Yeah. Whatever. I really like it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. All right, guys.